Welcome back
Bitch.
to Injustice. Yeah, it's Superman. You're never going to beat me because I'm Batman. And yeah, he apparently just carries a kryptonite lasso around with him at all times.
Well,
Yeehaw.
he probably had it in his Batcave just in
Yeah.
case. One of the things that Batman has always been characterized as doing is having a lot of just-in-case contingencies against the Justice League.
Which usually has some form of kryptonite or another. Just lace of kryptonite.
Well, yeah,
Also, fuck's sake, Damian.
Fight your friends than the real problem.
man.
Son?
Well, they had to establish this plot point since it was already in Injustice 1, but...
Yeah, but it still makes me really dislike Damian.
Well, I don't think anyone's ever really liked Damian all that much.
Unfortunately,
Is that
so.
Zaz?
Yeah, that was Zaz he killed.
Yeah. Probably the least visually interesting Victor Zaz I've seen in a video game so far.
It's
Or
just
in
a
any
generic.
medium,
It's
really.
just a generic model.
Yeah. With some token tally marks drawn on for because that's a Zaz thing. Just
Yeah.
To be fair,
Oh,
Zaz is always pretty damn boring.
So is Superman just like getting some popcorn in the corner and being like, "Oh yeah, this is awesome."
Something like that. Also, Batman move.
oh man.
So does Batman have like super duper batarangs or something? Oh no, the bomb one is Robin's. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's his special power.
Bat.
Yeah, this is a little disappointing to see like Batman and Damian like fighting. I mean, in the context of the world, I guess it makes sense, but this is like an age-old issue that the two have always had. But I always found it excusable when Damian was a kid.
No, age old. Was
Raised-
Damian around long enough before dying to have anything regarding him say age old?
Well, when was Damian introduced?
Grant Morrison's run back before New 52.
Like yeah, so like only
Before
the
New 52.
2000s really. He's not that old of a character.
Yeah, but still, I mean, like an ongoing issue between the two was that Damian, as being raised by the League of Assassins or the League of Shadows, whatever, like he would have no quarrels over killing like bad guys.
He tries. Well, the thing is, in the comics, he understands that that's a difference between him and League of Assassins. So, him being raised by Bruce now is kind of the point. Here, it's just, oh, I was raised by League of Assassins, and I don't like you, Batman. So, meh.
Yeah. And well, I kind of understand why some things are simplified, because when you're writing a story for a fighting game, or at least with this particular kind of story mode where you're not doing the Blaze Blue thing and taking 3 years between every fight for a story, you kind of have to write a story that has room for a fight every couple of minutes or so. And within those constraints, Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 10 and the Injustice games, they all do a fairly good job of pacing themselves. But, some story elements are really undercooked as a result. Oh, hi, Lucius.
Thought that's why you hired that overpaid PR firm, Lucius.
Huh. Lucius Fox has been showing up in, like, everything Batman-related ever since The Dark Knight. And I know he's always been a thing.
That's Morgan Freeman for you.
I know he's always been a thing. Like there was mention of him in Batman Beyond and all of that stuff, but they make sure to have him
Well, Lucius
appear
is
in
in
everything.
Lucius appears in Batman the Animated Series, just not that often.
Yeah, it's like they just make sure to have him appear in basically everything these days. It's cool to see. Like he's a cool character, but it's also a little cynical because people remember The Dark Knight, and
Well, because people are more often to watch a live action movie rather than cartoons, and yeah, I think it helps that he was indeed played by Morgan Freeman. So
yeah, I know.
Morgan Freeman.
It's just kind of like all of the media is feeding off of the one popular thing, rather than
That's
Well, to be fair, it's a great movie.
yeah, it is a
It's
great
a great
movie.
series of movies. Yeah.
It's also a great movie that is so far removed from the comics tonally that it really should be kept at, I would say, arm's length from it. But
But baby, you smell.
anyway, Green
Hi,
Arrow.
Ollie.
So, they just sort of hand wave away Black Canary not having been in Injustice 1 by saying, like, she wasn't around. No explanation for why. But,
No, Dr. Fate was hiding them for their protection or something.
Ah, right.
I got a feeling a lot of these questions will be answered if we read the Injustice comic book.
Which most people I know don't, so...
I mean, I tried. I honestly got tried. But it's not every day where I'm put off by an art style of a comic book, but that comic book's art style made me laugh.
Oh, after...
Like Batman's reaction to Superman punching Joker through the chest.
Dude, everyone's facial reaction to everything.
To be honest, like, after pushing my way through the New 52 Batwoman comic and learning to read in up, down, and all around, that'll make sense to anyone who's read that comic. I don't think
Batman
any
or the
art
Batman
style
Court of
will
Owls
ever
book,
put me off from comics again.
Must take a real genius to operate.
But in any case, our first chapter is Harley Quinn.
Hi, everyone's favorite character all of a sudden.
Now, there's something about the way Harley's face moves that really brings out the uncanny valley in this game.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much LA Noir, the commentary in a nutshell.
It's like she moves her face in really exaggerated movements. And you can make a video game face look realistic for basic movements and normal facial movements, but when you have a character like Harley whose mouth emotes a hell of a lot and in every possible direction at once, sometimes it gets a little bit too much and the 3D animated smoothiness breaks out.
So Harley Quinn is good
Yeah.
now in this universe, was it?
She's been
She's
good in this
been
universe
good.
since the last game, yeah.
Yeah,
In
but
fact,
didn't
I
she
think
become bad again when Joker came back or something?
she pretended to play along with Joker, but she was still working with Batman and wound up just sort of, handing the Joker over to them when all was said and done.
Yeah, it was a big part of her plot in the first Injustice is that after when Joker's dead, she learned to get past him and grow independently.
And Harley is usually, at least since she got popular in the comics, has been definitely more anti-hero than straight-up villain.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But the thing about Harley in Injustice 1 was that she did sort of tag along with the Joker toward the end, but then the Joker tried to kill her and Lex Luthor rescued her. But that whole drama didn't really put her too directly at odds with the good guys, so it didn't break the trust.
I understood that reference, game.
So, well, I wanted to ask you guys, like, what do you guys think of, like, the turning of Harley Quinn to make her essentially an anti-hero is what you guys were saying is in this comic books and all that thing, because I personally think it is an improvement.
Well,
And she was never really...
the character.
She wasn't 100% villain in the animated series either.
Well, in the animated series, it's kind of like when you get the full picture of her character in the animated series, you can sort of see her as an anti-hero, but that's only toward like season 4, where her origin story was actually explained. They didn't really go into it until season 4. Before that, she was kind of just a really charismatic lackey. Charismatic's the wrong word for that, but you get the idea. Oh, hey, speaking of Dark Knights, hey, it's Scarecrow channeling his Batman Begins.
No, Lois, it's Freddy Krueger.
I do appreciate seeing Poison Ivy again, though.
And they actually reference the fact that Harley and Ivy are a thing.
Well, that's not just an anime thing. It's not just an animated series thing. That's there's this.
No, that's what I'm getting at. It's been in the comics for a long time too.
Yeah. They actually reference the whole Gotham City Sirens thing when Catwoman, Harley, and Ivy are all on screen at the same time. Well, that was pretty cool. But I am surprised that the first character we play an adventure as in this story mode is Harley, of all people.
Not counting the intro Batman stuff.
And it's probably a good thing for the story mode that we did start as Harley, because they handled Harley better than most of the other characters in this story mode, I think. Like,
That's not saying much.
It's not saying much, but they took her character and what they had going with her in the first game, and they expanded on it pretty damn well. And it also gave them an excuse to have Joker in the game without actually bringing him back from the dead. Although after...
but apparently Joker's okay, but we can't bring back other dead characters or just ignore others for no reason.
Honestly, I think
who
it's Suicide Squad stuff, because because Harley is Harley is clearly based off of her Suicide Squad costume. And
not
so is
not
Joker.
really, not really. The Suicide Squad costume was more based off of what Harley already looked like in the comics, because she hasn't had her animated series design.
No, I
since
know.
the New 52.
Well, I know that. Like, she wasn't. I knew that unless if it was like a DLC costume, she wasn't going to have her like pom poms and whatnot. But I don't know what you call them.
Pom-poms?
Like the little things.
The
on
jester
the
hat.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, the
whatever.
jester hat.
You knew what I'm talking about. But it's much more obvious with Joker that they took Suicide Squad.
Well, yeah, they took Suicide Squad inspiration, but you know what they did? They made it an actually good design. So, I applaud them.
Well, a better design.
Well, it's a good design.
Good is stressing it.
It's a good design in
anything's
context.
better than fucking zombified Macaulay Culkin.
That's
right?
granted.
It's a good design in context, and by in context I mean as a Scarecrow nightmare. Like I like that, although
which I wonder if it was based off a scrapped idea they had for a sequel to Batman and Robin.
Did that hyena just eat her boob?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how the animation fell together in that case. I do like that they brought the two hyenas back, because that was an animated series thing, and I'm not sure that's really been in the comics or in any of the other...
it's canon that she has two hyenas in the comics. They just don't appear much.
Oh, they're still around?
Yeah.
Huh. Odd. Anyway...
Why would you even... He's so slow. Why would you even give him the opportunity to spray it?
Because she used to huff that stuff for kicks, apparently.
She's developed such a resistance to Scarecrow's gas.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
Alright, okay, so, Scarecrow's actual in-game design is... What the hell?
Wait, so this is his gameplay model?
Yeah. You're under the effect of fear gas when you fight him, so you see him as this nightmare monster. But,
that's actually a decent idea, I think.
Yeah.
It makes a certain amount of sense.
Well, it's obviously just there as an excuse for them to use the goddamn Batman Begins design in cutscenes, but...
Also to have again, I mentioned Freddy Krueger earlier, but I'm not kidding, he's actually voiced by Robert Englund in this game.
Yeah.
And the Scarecrow voice, I mean, with the touch-up here and there, is straight Freddy Krueger. Which, I think is perfect. I think it's a perfect fit. I think he does a really good job voicing this character.
Well...
Scarecrow's actually really annoying to fight, because he has a lot more range than you think he does with that chain thing.
Yeah. Well, they did...
So I'd imagine, like, the new fear toxin, the formula, so that everybody sees him like this?
I guess.
When they're fighting them, I suppose. Like, I know that if this were going to be canonically accurate, like, everybody would have their own different depiction of Scarecrow, depending on their own individual insecurities, but, like, come on. They're not going to do that. So, this is close enough, and I think that it's actually a really cool idea.
Well, it really, going by what I've seen of Scarecrow Fear Toxin and other stories, is that one of the low key effects of being under its influence is that things that you see in the real world take on a twisted shape based on what they actually look like, and that comes up in Batman Begins at one point too. Actually, when the Scarecrow sees Batman as a Batman monster. Which
basically as Man-Bat.
Which was hilarious, by the way. I mean, I know it was intended to be scary and insane, but I just laughed when I saw it.
Like Gargoyles cosplay.
It was so ridiculous. But yeah, it's...
Dude,
I know you like to vape, but this is a bit much.
You have to do it inside, man. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, the Scarecrow, fear gas nightmare, like, just so that they could have the Joker back in the game, they had this fear gas episode happen, and
this is the only time Joker appears in the entire story, and it's a Scarecrow nightmare. So apparently that's good enough to bring him back as a playable character, but ignore tons of others from the previous game.
You know they were gonna bring Joker back.
No, I know that, but it's one of those, okay, as a fighting game, we'll ignore other characters, but Joker's just okay just because he's the Joker.
Having him in the game is fine, but why did they have to shoehorn him into the story mode is my question. Because
exactly.
Can we just stop for a second and appreciate how, Heath Ledger and Jared Leto have done the fusion dance here? Because it's clearly both of their designs.
Yeah, except one is way better than the other. So...
But it's like they merged the two designs with the comic design to make this one. And
She does have her whole design.
yeah.
It looks really weird with a realistic face, though.
well.
I was gonna say that myself.
It looks weird with a realistic face, but she's also not wearing the mask, which is a bizarre choice. But I guess they didn't want to put the mask on because that would mean hiding her eyes for this scene where her eyes are supposed to be emoting and stuff. So, what is everyone in the real world doing while Harley is fighting the Joker in her head?
I guess
Justice.
Ollie and Dinah are just sitting in lawn chairs with popcorn, watching her flip around.
That's kind of what I imagine everybody does in these kind of fighting games when they're just watching other people fight. Only since this is in her head, Harley is just doing all of the flips and attacks at nothing, and everybody's just really
What is
confused.
she doing? It's fine. It's a typical Wednesday. Just let her go with it.
Well, you know, at least it makes slightly more sense for Harley to be doing this than Batman. Because, like, Arkham Knight, rather. But why? Why did they do that? I mean, I know why
Arkham Knight
they
has a
did
lot of
that.
questions.
I mean, I know why they did that, because they wanted to have the Joker back in the game, somehow. But
So
it was so dumb.
a gameplay question: when you had the hammer, when you were using the hammer attack on Joker, you kind of kept it out for a while. Can you like charge it, or is that a delay?
That is a heavy attack, and heavy attacks can be charged.
Okay, so it's not like it's that delayed. You chose to keep it out until he was ready for you to hit him. Okay.
Yeah, it'll do more damage and have more general knockback, but
It's super
it also leaves you
telegraphed.
more open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also how you get opponents into those
Transitions.
sequences. Yeah, transitions that do a lot of damage.
Well,
Wait, Joker
when I
has a laughter meter? Like he's watching Three
No, that-
Stooges and thinks it's really tacky and it goes down?
That's the little icons next to your super meters are your powers. So
yeah.
like the Harley
they
has
make
the two hyenas, so I have two uses of the hyenas.
Yeah, like they make it so that you can't spam your powers. Like in Black Canary's case, the one character I'm vaguely decent at.
Oh yeah, you kept yelling at people.
Yeah. Her shriek ability gains range and damage as the meter fills up, and it fills up multiple times. So you can cover the entire screen with it when you've got full power. But if you've only got like 1 or 2 meters, it'll go like 4 feet in front of you and pack a decent enough punch. But it won't be as overpowering as it would be if you let it sit for a while.